What's the formula for a bad story?
I feel like there's many ways that a story could go bad. Not picking the right character to be the lead. I definitely have read scripts where the lead character is much less interesting than like a secondary character in the script. It's like, why are you putting the focus here? Being completely plot driven to the point where we don't really have characters. If the whole story is just set piece after set piece and we don't care about what's going on or who the people are in the cool set pieces, it can be as cool as you want and still kind of fail because there's not enough of a story there, you know. Not having any kind of connection, I think, is probably the biggest bad thing that you'll see in a script is, you know, having the wrong character or not caring about the character. I know that anti-heroes are like a big thing nowadays, you know, like the Joker movie and Breaking Bad, the series of, you know. And so a lot of people think, you know, because it used to be that, oh, you have to like the character. Well, you don't necessarily have to like the character. No, if anybody liked the character in Joker, there's something wrong with them. You know, it's a good movie, but it's like if you can get on board with that character doing those awful things, there might be something wrong with you. But the thing is, you care about the character because you know they're doing the bad things, but like you're seeing, in addition to the bad stuff, you're seeing like the human side of the character and there's something that you can connect to. You know, like Taxi Driver, even, which again is a similar story to Joker and stuff. They're doing the bad stuff, but like they've got humanistic things about them, you know, that connects you. Where and like even in superhero movies, you know, like those quotes from some famous directors that we won't throw under the bus, you know, of, you know, oh, superhero movies, you know, they're just like a roller coaster ride or whatever he said it was. And it's like, but you know, if like superhero movies done well, you care about the character. Like that's the thing that like Marvel does really well, you know, in their movies, is that you care about the superheroes. It's not just this guy in an iron suit who can blow stuff up with, you know, repulsor cannons or whatever it's called. Like you care about him and his interactions with other people around him and his, you know, how he wants to solve the problem. If it was just a faceless person in a thing blowing stuff up, there's nothing there to care about, you know. So that's probably the biggest bad thing people do, is not giving us something to hold on to for the character.
Do you think that the level of empathy has improved? Like, forgive me, I don't know much about the superhero genre, okay, so I'm hoping you can educate me on it.
Sure.
So let's take Christopher Reeves as Superman in the 80s.
As you should.
Okay, all right, yeah. So do you think that version of Superman has evolved in terms of some of the humanistic qualities they give to him?
So like if we like were to compare that one with like some of the more recent Supermen, I love Christopher Reeve as Superman. I love Henry Cavill as Superman. They're fantastic, but they're very different Supermen. The movies, obviously, the tone is much darker in the new one than the one in the 80s.
Different time, also.
Yeah.
Different things in the world.
But there's still, in each of them, they still have human traits. Like they're this alien from outer space who has godlike powers, but they were raised as a person, you know? So they're not, Superman is his secret identity. He's Clark Kent. If you think of the stuff, because he was raised by Mom and Pa Kent to be a good person long before he even had the ability to knock over buildings and, you know, carry kryptonite planet or rocks, mountains into the space, you know, like happened in Superman Returns, you know, Brandon Routh's Superman, which is a continuation, but okay. I can go into too much of Superman stuff, but the point is, they were people, they were humans, and they were brought up as good people from their parents before they had the ability to do godlike things. You know, so if it was just somebody who was automatically born, already had the superpowers, and because so in comic books, one thing that DC used to do was the Elseworlds stories, and my favorite one is Superman Red Sun. They're going to have an animated version of come out later this year. I'm psyched for it. Where he, you know, crash landed in Soviet Russia, and he was basically raised as the Supermensch, the Ubermensch. You know, so he basically became their weapon, you know, during like the wars and stuff. And so It's a whole nurture versus nature thing, you know, of how he was raised, because his humanity is much lower in Red Sun than it ever was in the main continuity, because he was raised by Mom and Pa Kent over here, whereas over here he was, you know, raised by, you know, soldiers and the government and stuff like that to be a weapon. I don't know where I'm going with that.
Well, no, I think you've touched on it. So we're trying to. It sounds like because of the timing of the 80s, the world was definitely a different place. We had fears and there were things looming, but it seems like today the intensity and then hence the story is darker.
Yeah. So the tone is darker, but he's, even if you look at him as a character though, he still got raised by Mom and Pa Kent, so he still makes, you know, humanistic choices even when he's fighting against Zod. You know, one thing that everybody for the new Superman movie with Henry Cavill, the people didn't like in Man of Steel, was that he ended up killing Zod at the end. Spoiler alert, if you didn't see it yet. They're like, oh no, Superman would never kill, so it's a much darker thing, but he still made the choice to save human life, you know, because that's the way he was raised. You know, like his own dad, you know, made him not be Superman basically to save other people and stuff because it would oust him. Well, in this case, he's doing whatever it takes to save those people because he couldn't save people before. So, and then going back to the Christopher Reeve version, he's, you know, doing whatever it takes to save the people, like putting himself in harm's way with like the kryptonite and then having to go along the missiles. Granted, in the old one, he got to fly around the Earth to save Lois and reverse time, which our guy didn't get to do, but he's still making all of his choices based on a human quality as opposed to a Superman quality. He's just a human who gets to do the Superman quality, which is why I say that Superman, it's not that Clark Kent is not his Superman secret identity. Superman is Clark Kent's secret identity.